All right. First question is,
Yep.
do you know when women got the right to vote?
The exact date?
Not the exact date, like year.
1920s? 1920s.
Yes. Okay. Do you know when women got the vote?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
1900s?
The vote.
When they first got the right to vote, approximately 90 to 95 years ago, at some point in the 20s.
Do you know when women got the right to vote?
In the 1920s.
Do you know when women got the vote?
Yes, in 1920.
Do you know what amendment states the women have the right to vote?
Civil rights. Wasn't it like the Civil Rights War? I don't know then.
What amendment states that women have the right to vote?
I don't know.
To vote.
It's for sure one of the following two amendments, either the 18th or the 21st.
Women have the right to vote.
The 18th. 19th. The 19th.
What amendment states that women have the right to vote?
The 19th Amendment.
Do you know who opposed them getting the vote? Women. Who opposed women getting the vote?
Men?
Yep. That is good. Them getting the vote?
Stuck up asshole man. I don't know.
Do you know who opposed them getting the vote?
Leaders of the anti-women's movement.
Do you know who opposed them getting the vote?
No idea.
Getting the vote?
Probably men.
Vote.
Because they weren't equal.
Why they didn't want women to get the vote?
It likely had to do something with oppression, and they didn't want women to be on the same playing field as men who were looked at as being superior in nature. That's why at the time people weren't too particularly fond of women in higher education as well. So again, they wanted to keep them oppressed.
Do you know why they didn't want women to get the vote?
Because they thought like men were superior to women, so they didn't really want to give women that option to vote. So they thought their say didn't matter.
Do you know why they didn't want them getting the vote?
So they didn't have, the women had power over the men. They wanted to be in control.
Do you know what the first wave feminism is about?
No.
No, you don't? Okay.
No idea.
What the first wave of feminism is about?
I may be able to talk about it in very broad terms, but specifically, if you're looking for an idea or so, not so much. Just with the whole movement of feminism, it's trying to reduce the gender gap regarding inequality that exists nationwide and even beyond, for that matter. One good example is pay. Still in today's day and age, I think on average women make a fraction of the amount that males make for doing the exact same job.
What the first wave of feminism is about?
Nope.
Wave of feminism is about?
To get the vote between 1880 and 1920.
How about the second wave of feminism?
Oh shit, no. I mean,
How about the second wave of feminism?
I don't know what any of the waves of feminism are.
How about the second wave?
No.
Second wave.
Second wave, 1960 to 1980, and for equal rights.
Ready?
really?
Yeah, okay. Do you know how many women are candidates for the next presidential election?
Technically, nobody has announced their candidacy yet, so it's predicted that there's going to be one and maybe even two.
Presidential election?
Hillary's the only one I know of. God help us if she wins.
For the 2016 election, how many are candidates in total? I don't know, but chances are the Democratic nomination will be Miss Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
So that's really speaks.
For the next presidential election?
Probably one. Should be Hillary Clinton.
Candidates for the next presidential election?
No, I'd say around 2 or 3.
Would you vote for a woman president? And would they make a good president?
Absolutely. If it's Hillary Clinton, probably not. But not because she's a girl. She'd be great. Everyone would be great.
For a woman president, yes, but not Hillary.
Would they make a good president, do you think?
Excuse me.
Would they make a good president, just women in general?
Women in general, yes. I think they would do just as equal, actually.
I would vote for one, absolutely. But to be very candid, it would depend in large part on her political ideologies, their platform, the issues that they run, that they kind of supports their platform on. So I absolutely would, but it would be contingent upon a number of different factors, not just on the sole factor of gender. Over the last, century or so, if you rewind time 40, 50 years ago, people at that point in time, would they have ever perceived that it would be a good likelihood that a woman would actually eventually become president? At that time, 50s, 60s, they would have probably told you absolutely no way, just like with the African American. But we saw what happened in 2012.
Vote for women for president, and would they make a good president?
I'd vote for women for president just because I think like women are equal to men, and that like a woman can do anything just as good as a man can do it.
Would you vote for a woman president? Do you think they'd make a good president?
I would vote for them if they had good standards and rights and what they base all their opinions on, and so yeah, I would.
Is believing that men and women should be treated equal. Feminists are women who just believe that people think they're like lesbians who are like all about women, but really they're just for equality.
Yes,
What is it?
to a point. It's kind of like stereotyping women out in general, like they're not equal for men.
I was trying to think of a way in which I could be facetious, but nothing came to mind. Feminism is more of a movement, I think. It's more of a elaborate, labor-intensive movement to where, as I indicated before, we're trying to close the gap between males and females in different aspects, not only in the labor market, but elsewhere for that matter as well. Giving them additional opportunities nowadays, whereas they likely never had those opportunities, a half century to a century ago. It's giving them more of a voice and letting their voices be heard as well.
It's basically just like a movement like for women to get the same rights that men have, and I mean even though it's 2014, like we still don't have the same rights as men. Like we're still not as equal. Like we've come a long way, but it's still not completely equal.
Do you know what feminism is?
Do I know what feminism is? Equal rights between genders.